So you're considering the possibility of moving to Jericho, New York, but you're an outsider who knows absolutely nothing about Jericho, and you need more information before making a big decision. Well, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to be discussing everything regarding the Jericho area. Home values, the schools, certain locations of things, things to do, and much, much more. I have no more time to waste, so let's get started. So first off, where exactly is Jericho? So I've pulled up a fairly zoomed out map of much of Long Island, and you can see Jericho is located right here, smack dab in the middle of Nassau County. Now, if you zoom in, you will see that Jericho is essentially located directly north of Hicksville, directly south of Brookville, and sort of southwest of Oyster Bay. But if you want a town that's directly next to Jericho, you'll see that Jericho is southwest of Syosset. So those are the neighboring cities. Now I'm going to zoom in even more, so we're going to get a closer look of everything that's actually inside of Jericho. So now I'm on niche.com, a site that I'm going to be using later on in the video when I'm talking about the public schools. But for now I'm using its map because I like the way they kind of configure with the boundaries and everything. But here is a more zoomed in look at Jericho. So firstly, boundaries and borders will be different depending on which map you actually use. So when it comes to this map, much of this sort of empty space in the upper half of this boundary, it's kind of not really Jericho. It is. I mean, again, different maps will show you different things. But this video is going to be more focused on what is generally considered and talked about as Jericho, which is more the bottom half of this figure, where all these sort of A+ symbols are. Those are the public schools, by the way, and we'll get to them later. But the upper half of this figure is, you know, it's Brookville, it's Glen Head, Old Westbury. Some of it's Jericho, but it's not as commonly referred to as Jericho. So Jericho is made up of mostly three neighborhoods. You have East Birchwood, which is right here. You have West Birchwood, which is right here in the southwest of town. And right in the middle you have Princeton Park. Now conveniently, and this is very interesting, I hope so at least, you have these A+ symbols that I mentioned a minute ago in each of those three neighborhoods. Those are the three elementary schools. So the city of Jericho has 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. And we'll get to them specifically in a second. But each of the 3 elementary schools are in each one of the 3 major neighborhoods. You have Jackson Elementary School, which is right here in East Birchwood. You have in West Birchwood, you have Caniog Elementary School. And in Princeton Park, you have Robert Seaman Elementary School. Now the middle school and high school are located right up here. And what's interesting is they're located together. They're not separate, they're actually together inside of one very large building. I'm going to repeat that one more time because it's not common, and I understand that. The middle school and the high school in Jericho are together, part of the same building, and the building is right here. So those are the 3 elementary schools and the connected middle school and high school. We'll get back to them later on in the video when I discuss the school districts in detail. But now that you know where the schools are, you're probably wondering, well, how the hell am I going to get there? And that's a good question. I'm going to explain it to you right now. This is a perfect time for us to talk about transportation. And transportation, I mean, you guys know how it is. It's really not complicated once you have an understanding in the area, once you've lived there for just a little bit. So Route 106, which is right here with this little white oval symbol, that's essentially how you're going to access everything that Jericho has to offer. This yellow line, it says North Broadway here, but this is all generally considered Route 106. As you can see, it cuts right through Jericho from top to bottom. Now, if you want to travel far, like, you know, outside of Jericho to various parts of Long Island, you're going to use the 495, which is marked by the 495 symbol, or you're going to use the Northern State Parkway, which is just a little bit past it, a little bit south of it, right here. In fact, the Northern State Parkway is right on the border of Jericho, at least the border on this map. So they're very close to each other when they're in Jericho, but once you're outside of Jericho, they kind of go their own way. And once again, once you've actually lived here for a week, everything will become clockwork to you. This is not going to be complicated. I understand it's complicated now, but don't worry. It's a week and you'll be good with it. When it comes to traffic, I'd say Jericho, I mean, listen, most of the traffic, like when you're coming home from work or it's just a busy day, most of the traffic that you'll experience will happen on your way back to Jericho. But once you get back in Jericho, I mean, there could be some crowded streets, especially in the rush hour traffic, 4 or 5 p.m., or maybe the same for the morning rush hour traffic. But it's not going to be a deal breaker for you. It's not going to be, you're not going to be stuck in the car for 2 hours, even though you're just like 1 mile from your home. So now that we've covered where everything is, it's probably a good time to ask the question, what's the cost of living in Jericho? And simply put, if you want a move-in ready home in the Jericho School District, in Jericho as a whole, but especially in the Jericho School District, you're going to be paying at least $1 million, and in many cases, in fact, more than that. So here I have InfoSparks pulled up, which is a database that includes information and statistics regarding the real estate market. And you can see that based on the data, the median home price in Jericho over the last 12 months is right around $1.2 million. Now this is median. Not every home in Jericho is going to sell for exactly $1.2 million. All right? Some homes will be less expensive than that. Some homes will be way more expensive than that. But if you're trying to get the average, the prototypical Jericho home, the $1.2, $1.3 million range is a very good sort of expectation that you're going to have to pay. Now, when you look at specific homes that have sold in the Jericho School District, 47 single-family residential homes have sold in Jericho over the last 6 months, ranging from $850,000 to almost $2.5 million. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the fun part. Of those 47 homes, 32 of them have been between the price of $1 million and $1.5 million. So back to the point about the average median home price in Jericho, 2/3 of the homes that have sold in Jericho over the last 6 months have been between $1 million and $1.5 million. So if that isn't an accurate reflection of the average home in Jericho, then I don't know what is. Now, if you're interested in homes that are currently on the market, once again, just looking at the data, if you're looking for a 3-bed, 3-bath, or a 4-bed, 3-bath, which is sort of your prototypical property, a lot of these homes are listed in the $1 to $1.5 million range. This right here is a list of active homes currently on the market in the city of Jericho. There are 17 of them, and I highlighted all the homes that are either a 3-bed, 3-bath or a 4-bed, 3-bath for you. You can see them on the chart right here. Take a look at the list prices. All of them sort of in that $1 to $1.5 million range. I mean, you have a couple that are a little bit above the $1.5 million mark. But this video is designed to give you guys a good understanding of what the prototypical home in Jericho is if you plan on living here now or in the near future. Next up is the schools. Now, as many of you probably already know, Jericho is widely considered to have some of the highest quality school districts out there. That's why most people decide to move to Jericho in the first place. But instead of me telling you how good the Jericho schools are, let me show you what other sources and other people actually think. When it comes to school rating sites, there are many to choose from. I like using niche.com. I like the data that they provide and the way that they organize everything. On niche.com, Jericho is ranked the number 3 school district out of 55 total in all of Nassau County, and it's actually rated the number 3 school district in all of New York State. Now, if you want another source, you can always check the school scores on Zillow. They're not the end-all be-all by any means, but at the very least, it's a reliable source that a lot of people trust. Now remember, Jericho has 5 schools. It has 3 elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school. So when it comes to the school scores on Zillow, Kaniog Elementary School and Robert Seaman Elementary School are both rated at an 8 out of 10. Jackson Elementary School and the Jericho Middle School are both rated at a 9 out of 10, and the Jericho High School is rated at a 10 out of 10. Now I'm going to go back to niche.com because they have a ton of other information besides just a score. When it comes to the score itself, the Jericho School District on niche.com has an A+ overall niche grade. It is also ranked 8th on a list of 609 districts in all of New York when it comes to ranking the quality of teachers, and it also has a 98% graduation rate. There are a ton of other rankings and lists that niche.com has that you can check out for yourself. Those are just a couple to give you guys some good information. Now, if you want to hear about personal experiences, you can check out reviews by both students from Jericho and by parents of students from Jericho. That's at the bottom of every page of every district on niche.com. I'm gonna put the link to niche.com down in the description below so you guys can look for yourselves. There are many other sources that you can use besides the two that I've cited, because if you're deciding where to move to and where to send your children to school, you wanna make sure that you've not only explored all your options, but you've chosen the school district that is best for your children. So at this point in the video, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Stephen, Jericho's nice, it's got some nice homes, it's got great schools, but are there actually things to do? And to that question, I say, it's not New York City, but what else is? Jericho itself might not be some grand tourist attraction, but it's far from being, as dormant as a deserted island. To dive into greater detail, I'm gonna pull up the map again to show you what I mean. So in between Princeton Park and East Birchwood, you have this empty space right around here. This is a pretty big shopping center called the Jericho Plaza. Jericho Plaza has basically all the essentials that you'd expect. There's a pharmacy, a Whole Foods, a pizzeria, there's a haircutting place, there's a Marshall's, there's a Citibank, there's a Starbucks, there's everything. Anything that you possibly could want in a mini shopping center, it has. Now the Jericho Plaza is at maximum maybe 6 to 7 minutes away from any point in Jericho. But if you're still not sold that is enough for you, at least for short distance locations, you'll be surprised to figure out exactly how much there is to do just outside of Jericho. Let me show you what I mean. For example, the Broadway Mall, or commonly referred to as Broadway Commons, it's just a massive, massive shopping center. Think about the Jericho Plaza and everything that the Jericho Plaza has, and multiply it by like 7 or 8. I mean, the Broadway Mall, it's huge, and it's not technically in Jericho, but it's literally 1 minute outside of it. There's also Canyon Park, a very popular attraction people go to all the time. You can do just about anything there. The point being, there are a ton of options, ton of opportunities for things to do, even if they're technically not inside of Jericho. And there are an abundance of quality nearby towns and amenities that will probably appeal to you, and all that you need to do is have the desire to explore. So we've covered where things are located, home values, the schools, things to do, but what about the living conditions? What is the weather like? What kind of weather should I expect in the various seasons? From a temperature perspective, in June, July, August, and maybe even early September, you can expect the average day to be somewhere in the mid-80s. There will definitely be days where we're in the 90s, but that's more uncommon. The spring and autumn months definitely have a very nice balance, but that's just my opinion. I'm not sure you guys care that much about my weather preferences. Now I know, I can hear this question coming from a mile away. But Stephen, what about the snow? But snow in the winter months really isn't going to be that big of an issue for you. The average winter, you might see a snowstorm or two, in terms of fairly significant ones. There will definitely be a handful of flurries, you'll have maybe every couple weeks you'll get an inch or two. But it's not going to be something that significantly hinders your ability to live. It's not going to be a deal breaker for most people. Now, obviously, there are some people who have, physical issues. They have trouble walking. I have family members who have trouble walking, so the snow isn't good for them. But even they are able to make it work, at least to a degree. But to recap the weather, the summer and winter months are, kind of the same. The summer is relatively hot, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And the winter is relatively cold, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And the spring and autumn months have a very good balance, in my opinion. So in conclusion, if you're considering the possibility of moving to the Jericho area, or you just came to this video to learn more about it, I hope that this video gave you an abundance of knowledge and a greater understanding of everything that Jericho has to offer. Obviously, this video just covered much of the basic but essential aspects of the Jericho area. But if there's anything in this video that you were looking to be answered that I didn't cover, or if there's something or multiple things that you still need greater clarification on, you can feel free to contact me anytime via phone, call, text, email, or my social media, all of which I have put down in the description below. If you or somebody you know is looking to buy or sell a property in Jericho and you think you might need some support, my talented, experienced team and I will happily support you in any way that we can. Thank you so much for watching and take care.